Hi Pisces, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, otherwise known as Sinfulpluto, and today we are doing your March predictions. All right, this is going to apply to Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it might not apply to everyone, and that's okay. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest that doesn't. Use your discernment and your critical thinking while watching these videos. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm using the Spacious Tarot for anyone who is wondering, for anyone who's curious. I'll be linking it down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. And before I go ahead into this reading, I just wanted to say very quickly, Pisces, while I was shuffling the cards earlier for you, tuning in with your energy, I got this feeling. I kept on getting a lot of thoughts about rage and anger. So I don't know if this pertains to your reading, if it pertains to your collective energy, but I just kept on hearing rage and anger and needing to control one's temper, needing to control one's anger or quick reactions or instinctual reactions to things, just being not so quick, or just being a little bit more mindful of reacting impulsively or reacting so quickly, reacting without, taking any sort of thought or consideration, things like that. So I don't know how that might resonate with you, Pisces, but I'm just laying it out there if that will help anyone. So yeah. All right, so Pisces, what's going on for you March 2020? Oh my goodness gracious, dude. These cards just jumbled up everywhere. All right, what's going on for Pisces March 2020? Okay. All right, so we have the Child of Cups that fell out. So the Page of Cups. So this talks a lot about imagination, idealism, romanticizing things, fantasizing about things, that sort of thing, right? A childlike sort of nature, sometimes being a little bit naive, looking at the world through the rose-tinted glasses, so on and so forth, right? We have the Eight of Swords reversed. I think I might have pulled this card for you recently, probably for the Mercury retrograde thing. But we have the Eight of Swords reversed, so this talks about liberation, release, realizing that you have a choice, realizing that you do have power. I feel like this is kind of talking about reclaiming your power and taking action. We have the Child or the Page of Pentacles. Okay. We have the Seven of Swords. Interesting. We have the Ten of Wands, the Nine of Cups reversed. And then at the bottom of the deck, surprisingly enough, or should I say ironically, I don't know, we have the Five of Swords here. So this talks a little bit about an empty victory. This talks a little bit about getting an ego boost by being a little bit of a jerk. This talks about you may have won this argument or this contest or this competition or whatever it is, right? You may have won, but maybe you were a little bit of a jerk about it. Maybe you were a little bit of an asshole about it, okay? Again, perhaps for some of you, this ties back to some sort of anger problem or just needing to control your temper, needing to control your words and what you say to people, being mindful of your tone, being mindful of just the way in which you say things, what you say, that sort of thing, right? So that's at the bottom of the deck as the overall energy of the month for you. And it's so interesting to me, this month, with this spread, Pisces, it really seems as though you are going to feel inspired in some sort of way. All of this kind of reads to me as you reclaiming your power, you realizing that you have a lot to offer to the world, actually. You have a lot to offer. And I feel that you are really tuning into your inner child in a way. You are tuning into your imagination, right? Especially with all of these Pisces planets. I believe we have the Sun in Pisces, we have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is soon going direct. We have Neptune in Pisces, right? So we have a lot of like water energy going on as well as earth energy. And it's so crazy because we have the Page of Cups, right, which is your Piscean nature, and then we have Earth, right? And I feel that this also symbolizes not only like the earthly stuff going on in the material world, but like all the Capricorn planets at this time, like all the planets that are in Capricorn right now, right? We have Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Pluto, you know, all of those planets, right? So I feel for you, Pisces, I feel that there's definitely some sort of like transformation and you turning your ideas, you know, the intangible things in your mind into tangible things. That's what I see with these two cards, with the Child of Swords, or not with the Child of Cups and the Child of Pentacles. Your free-flowing ideas, your imagination, your idealization, your inner child, your creativity, your emotions, the fluid part of you, right? You are taking that and you are turning it into something material. You are turning it into something tangible. Perhaps for some of you, this is something that you can monetarily gain from. For others of you, it might just be some sort of hobby that you're really into that gives you a sense of relief, whatever it is, right? But I see like that sort of idea of turning something intangible, turning something fluid into something tangible, into something structured, into something rooted and grounded, which is really good energy, right? I see you reclaiming that power and realizing that you do have the skills, the resources to turn intangibility into the tangible. However, what I would encourage you to be mindful of this month is overestimating yourself and getting into things a little too quickly of, letting only your imagination take the soul like reins, I guess you could say, right? Because we have a Seven of Swords, which to me talks about a lack of strategy. It talks about rushing into something and then like getting overwhelmed by it. The way that I kind of see it is like someone trying to pick up all of their laundry at once in one go, and then while they're trying to go to their room or trying to go to the place that they like, fold their laundry or whatever, they end up just like dropping a bunch of socks and like shirts and stuff. So it's like, be careful of overestimating yourself, overestimating your imagination, because even though your imagination might be boundless, there's still a need to find some form of structure. There's a need to basically structure your imagination in some way, to put it a little bit in some sort of boundary, to create some sort of bounds, so that you don't end up overwhelming yourself, overstimulating yourself, and end up feeling way too burdened, right? Because we have the Ten of Wands as well, which talks about you feeling a little bit overwhelmed with everything that you might be carrying this month, with whether this is like an idea, a project that you want to go through, with a business that you want to start, with like jobs that you want to apply to, whatever the case might be for you, Pisces, right? The Ten of Wands to me talks about you overwhelming yourself, you taking on far too many tasks that you can handle, and it's weighing you down. It feels like a burden on your shoulders. The fun is kind of taken out of whatever situation this is. It no longer feels like a fun thing. It no longer feels like a hobby, for example. It no longer feels like something that you particularly enjoy. Now it just feels like work. It feels like an obligation. It feels like you are forced to do this in some sort of way. It feels like it's just far too much to handle, right? So that's why it's important to find a sense of balance, a sense of moderation, because especially here with this this Five of Swords right here, tying it all together. This to me kind of reads as like, you know, you might find yourself being able to start up this business, or you might be able to find yourself like finish this job, finish this project, whatever it is. Like, yeah, you finished it, but is it the way that you wanted it to be? Right? Did it turn out the way that you wanted it to? Did it turn out the way you imagined it? Did it turn out well? You know, is it efficient? Is it something that will work for you in the long term? Or, you know, is it finished, but is it still kind of wobbly? Is it finished, but is it like hanging, you know, like being torn at the seams, right? Like ready to explode, right? That sort of thing. So I think that's why the Five of Swords is here, is to kind of ask us like, okay, yeah, you finished. Yeah, you were victorious in it, but is it really a victory? Because perhaps it wasn't well done, or it wasn't as well prepared. And I think that's why with the Seven of Swords, it's so important to plan things out, to create a sense of structure, to create some boundaries for your imagination, to have some sort of blueprint for how to approach things, for how to get things done, so that way you don't end up overwhelming yourself and feeling like you want to give up, or feeling like you just want to drop everything and just not go through with it, right? And we have the Nine of Cups reversed, which to me kind of feels that you expected for this thing to be easy. Especially now that we're in Pisces season, maybe some of you feel like you're in your element, but I think it's also important to take advantage of the Earth planets that we have at this time to find a sense of structure, especially with everything being in Capricorn. Find that sense of structure. You know, Mars is in Capricorn. So yeah, you have the drive and you can definitely go far, especially if you are very determined and you are willing to persevere. But there also has to be like that structure to your imagination. There has to be a sense of planning. There has to be like some sort of pyramid almost, or like a step-by-step sort of thing, like something to regulate everything, to keep everything a little bit more organized, and you have a better experience with whatever this is, with this project, with this endeavor, job, whatever it is, right? Again, with the Nine of Cups reversed, don't expect everything to be super easy, for everything to fall into your lap. It's definitely going to require some form of grounding, some form of rooting, that sort of thing. Okay. It would be naive to think that it'll just fall into place the way that it needs to. You know, it would be a little bit too naive to have kind of like a blind faith that everything will kind of organize itself. You know, just because everything is laid out in front of you doesn't mean it's going to magically piece itself together and then you'll just be successful. No, it requires a little bit more mental work, a little bit more effort and time and things along those lines. So that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that this resonates. I hope it was helpful in some sort of way. I hope that you were able to gain something out of this. Sound off down below what you think, anything that you would like to share, you know, stuff like that. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much if you could do so. If you want to share this video with your friends, family, loved ones, or anyone else who needs to hear this message. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. And if you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. So with that being said, Pisces, good luck. I love you. Take this all into consideration and see how it might help you this month, okay? I think it would get you really far if you find some form of structure, okay? So yeah, I'll talk to you later. Good luck. Bye.